All righty, guys, we are live. So I'm sure everyone here knows everyone, but I'll introduce. I am Aaron. We have Mr. Shane Seal with Seal's Family Farm. We got Mr. Dwight Wilson with Peppermint Acres. We have Mr. Sean Harris with Timber Ridge Quail Farm, and we are the Bearded Quail Men. Um, I think we could cover pretty much any question that's thrown at us, and the ones we can't answer, I'm sure we could BS our way into it.
We'll Google
Um,
it.
yeah, we'll Google it. I mean, Google is kind of the best way to do things these days, ain't it? I mean, you can find the answer you're looking for. It may not be the correct one, but you can find it. Um, so I think everyone here, we're talking before we went live. I think everyone here is just super hot. And here we are. I have a campfire behind me. Wearing a sweatshirt, and Sean's outside with a campfire. I think maybe yeah. See, Sean's got his campfire. I think maybe Dwight and Shane might be the smartest ones out of here,
We've been
out of
told
us.
that.
Yeah.
Y'all just tell each other that it doesn't count. Um, so if anyone in the comments has any questions, feel free to ask. We Dwight Dwight lives up in West Virginia. He raises goats and mealworms and reptiles and quail and um, flies, and I think we all raise flies.
Yeah.
I think flies is probably the the thing we all farm the most, and doing a little studying on that right now and a little experimenting, and I think I might have found a good solution, a good safe solution for it. Um, we'll see. We'll see what actually comes forth with it. So I'm gonna jump into the comments because no one really wants to hear just me. Um, so Feather Connections Homestead says, "Oh boy, what's the topic today? Bearded quail men." Yeah. Um, just so we will all be together again. I'm sure before then, but for Gulf Coast Homesteading Convention, August 30 and 31st in Mount Hermon, Louisiana, we will all be together speaking again. Um, Maybe something a little more organized. We kind of just flew by the seat of our pants here because that's kind of what we do. But get your tickets for that and come and join us because it'll be a fun time. Homestead Matter says, "Oh, this is bound to be an enthralling. Looking forward to this chat." Me too. I've been excited about this one for like 3 weeks when we talked about it, which we've been talking about Bearded Quail Man for months now. And then when we scheduled something 3 weeks ago, I was kind of excited about it. Hope
I
Seal
can't
says
wait
I'm
for we
ready
get
to.
all to get together.
It's gonna be fun. Let's see. We got a question down here. I'm gonna skip. I apologize. I'm gonna skip a few comments, but Amanda Smith, when you start a new bloodline, what is the process from selecting male or female to backbreeding to crossbreeding? How many generations do? That's kind of an open-ended question. I'll go ahead and answer that for you. So, you need what are you breeding for when you're starting this new bloodline? What traits are you selecting for, and which direction are you wanting to take your breeding program? And I mean, for anything, you're gonna want to breed. It's not necessarily how many generations, because that really is not a finite number. It's not something that's black and white. A lot of this stuff, because the actual science part of the genetics of Paternus quail is not that well studied. It is in a scientific lab. It's not that well studied, and when it is, it's not really made known to the public. So you don't have like a guaranteed thing like let me go this many generations and I'm done with it. It's kind of like when you're satisfied, which I don't think anyone on here that we all breed quail. I don't think anyone's ever completely satisfied with their line. I think we're always improving, like every replacement cycle and every time I incubate. And I know all four of us talk quite often that we're always selecting for better. But like I could take something from Shane, or I could take something from Dwight, or I could take something from Sean, and I'm looking for something totally different because it doesn't matter if it's following the same standards. We're gonna see something different. So like I wouldn't say that like my line is superior than Shane, Sean, or Dwight, or their line superior than me because we're all looking at something in a from different brain. I mean, some of us have a small brain. I got a small brain. I got a bunch of water in my head. So on that, you would need to be more specific with your question to accurately answer it. And I went off on my first side rant. So I need somebody to keep me in check. Like Dwight, you don't have something you could just shock me with?
I just look for birds that don't fight.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Like and I know you raise a lot of game birds,
Yeah.
more than Caternix. So I know we have the conversation a lot on the Tennessee Reds, um, just the aggression, and I don't know if you could actually. I imagine you could, long term, to breathe the aggression out of it because I think they're just still so closely related to the wild version. But
Yeah, with those when that mutation, because the Tennessee Red is a bob white. It's a genetically bred bob white, but it's a mutation collar, and it's like dogs or anything with that collar mutation. There comes some bad traits, and that's aggression with those. I'm working on it. I've got. I thought I had it, but I had a pin the other day that I found a couple that were pretty well beaten up for week old chicks that were battling each other. So we'll have to put that in check.
yeah, and one thing I think that um, you see a lot online of people say they breed for temperament, and that doesn't mean that you'll have zero aggression. Even if that's your only focus is breeding for temperament, and you have the calmest birds, you're shipping eggs across the country. Someone else is incubating eggs, and they're raising the birds. So a lot of the temperament issues and the aggression issues could be environment and the way they're raised, the way they're kept. So I breed for temperament, and I do want calm birds because I don't want to walk into my quail barn to see a bloodbath because it costs money. It costs money in feed, time, effort, water. But like just because you have a good breeder that's breeding for temperament doesn't mean you will have non-aggressive birds. Chances are something it could be something on your end with environmentally caused, and you could just end up with a jerk. I mean, we have jerks as humans, and
Well, I know me and Sean kind of had this discussion this week on, selecting some of these birds. And each one of us probably looks for something different in a bird. What I
yep,
would look for may be a little different there. And same thing with Sean. And I think it depends on who your customer base is too and what birds they're looking for.
yep,
For my area, I mean, people want big meat birds. And that's a lot of my focus. I'd say probably 80% of it. I want size out of them birds, but I still want them to have a good temperament. And if I
yep,
have one that's aggressive, he ain't staying here. He'll be dispatched, and we'll make pet food or something with him. But
yep,
we don't keep that. And I have found that some of these smaller birds that we have, some of the different color varieties, uh, some of those I've had at my farm are a little more aggressive than my standard birds, like my browns or my whites. Uh, I don't see that much aggression in them as I did some of the little smaller birds. Uh, so here, if they get like that, they ain't staying. We'll
yeah,
get rid of them.
yeah. You just you don't want the aggression.
I think kind of like asking about what we look for. When we
You you
started this,
cut
we
you
wanted
cutting out,
to.
Sean.
I wonder if I don't know if it's my connection or sound better now.
Yeah,
we started this mainly for a meeting. Right? We just wanted to be able to provide a good quality bird to people that wanted to start something that they could start small, raise on their back porch if they wanted, get eggs, easily butchered birds. Uh, so what we really breed to is a temperament, but we want to meet the jumbo range and have a good, healthy, clean bird. And that's we're kind of sticking to that. We like to be, at 8 weeks old. We like to be 14, 15 ounces. I mean, um, and that's really kind of where we're at. But like Aaron said, that's going to depend on how much light of day they get, what kind of food they're getting, um, what kind of space they have. So that's kind of how we do it. We also raise ours kind of indoors. We're in a barn, so we control the light. They wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to bed at 10 o'clock at night every night. The lights come on gradually.
I think your fan's breaking you up. I think it might be the fan.
You think it's my fans or my fan?
Yeah, both. Yeah,
I think
both.
it's my fans. I think how much of that did y'all get? I mean, do you understand what I'm talking about?
I understood because I know we've had these conversations before. Go ahead and restart. We have time. We're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube. We're just going for kind of all around. I'll kind of make it short. All around good homestead bird that meets the jumbo range. People ask, well, how big are our birds? We always tell them we don't tell them an ounce. They meet the jumbo range because that's just kind of where we are and what we want to provide. Is a good, clean, healthy bird in a good, clean, healthy environment. You know what I mean? So a lot of that depends on what you're trying to do. So.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna talk about that jumbo's weight, and so we're all quail breeders, and I have this conversation a lot of times, and I had this conversation with most of you before on the jumbos. So like my jumbos hit target weights here, and under my conditions, my feed, and a lot of that starts on a jumbo Paternix with the brooding. Um, if your brood is not set up right, your birds will gain weight slower. And I know I have this conversation with a lot of people about the feeder space. We typically will put a J feeder or some sort of feeder in our quail cage, and we don't necessarily have enough room for every bird to be at the feeder at one time. So typically what happens is you'll have the bigger ones that sit at the feeder and eat, and then the smaller ones get pushed to the side. And those smaller ones have the jumbo genetics. So like if you get hatching eggs or you get, chicks from someone, and you got to give those birds a fighting chance to make the target weight. And, you can't be like, well, I got 4 or 5 that are just really falling behind, but are those 4 or 5 allowed to sit at the feeder and eat like the bigger ones? Because, I mean, like us four men right here, if we had a 120-pound guy trying to sit at the table with us and there was 4 chairs, buddy, he's not fitting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll bite his hand. He's not fitting. Just think of it like that. And like when you're raising out like meat chickens, you got long trough feeders where these birds are all sitting at the feeder at one time. There's no written standard on Paternix quail of, hey, let's have a lot of feeder space. If you got a 11-inch J feeder on a cage with 30 birds, you're not going to be able to fit every bird at that feeder at one time. Your bigger ones are going to eat at the feeder. They're going to lay on the ground in front of the feeder. The other birds aren't making a move. So keep that in mind too. And a lot of times in the brooding process, I don't weigh chicks. It's a pain in the butt, takes too much time, and it's inaccurate because it can fluctuate a lot. But you can visibly see size differences, especially around that 3 week range. Pull those bigger ones out, see if the smaller ones catch up, because they'll still hit that target. I'm looking to weigh at like 6 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks. So give those guys a chance to catch up to that. And you just got to give him a fighting chance because I mean Shane has humongous birds. Shane loves his scale. Shane loves his scale more than I might, maybe more than I love Quail. I think Shane just likes to weigh stuff.
Well, you're right.
But
we've had some beside ours, and they're good sized birds. I mean, they got. I mean, look at Shane. I mean, Shane's a pretty good sized fella. I mean, his birds are doing good too.
Yeah, but if you take Shane's birds and you don't allow them to feed, then they won't grow. They're not just going to grow on oxygen. They're going to grow on good feed and clean water.
But Aaron, you're right on those birds. When them birds are young, and me and Hope moved them from our brooders, and they're probably a couple of weeks old, maybe 10 to 14 days. You'll noticeably see there's some of those birds that are smaller, and we'll try to separate those into different pens and give them a chance. And a lot of times when you come to that 6 week weigh-in, them birds are pretty close.
Yeah,
because they've had an opportunity to compete with those other birds, with birds of their own size.
Yeah.
So, but if you try to leave them in those grow out pens together, they're going to get left behind, and they're not going to make the weights. And then, they never had the opportunity. So we tried to go through them early, if we can, and try to take those smaller birds out of that environment and put them somewhere else they can thrive.
Yeah. So we got Amanda got a different question here. She said she wants to breed a specific color with celadon eggs. She has an idea of the conformity. She's looking for traits both parents need. The part I'm unsure about is cleaning up a line through backbreeding. So backbreeding is going to involve taking your parental rooster and breeding it to his offspring for the desired traits to match him, because you're trying to replicate his traits down his lineage. So you're going to take his offspring, breed it back to him, and I would take that offspring, the offspring that meets your standards, and then breed it back to him as well, and so on and so forth. With that, it's I mean, it can be beneficial for establishing like a consistent flock. It can be beneficial even like backbreeding if you're trying to clean up your egg size on your average, your average egg size, because you can get pretty close on duplicating where every egg's pretty identical. It does take a lot of patience and it takes a little bit of time, but you could do it on like increasing your egg size. And if all your eggs are pretty close to being identical, in theory, they should all hatch at the same time. In theory, doesn't necessarily mean that 100%, but in theory, they all hatch at the same time. Backbreeding is something commonly used in poultry and quail. It's not really, people don't really like say backbreeding, but Amanda, that basically what it entails. And I mean, you could definitely do it, and you would know 100% if your rooster is homozygous CE. You would know, depending how many offspring you actually going to keep. You'll know pretty darn quick if it's homozygous CE. Went a little off on that one, but that's something that interests me in the breeding aspect of things. Kelly's asking Shane, do you weigh your chicks?
Well, it depends. If me and Hope are looking for replacement breeders, and I know I'm hatching a set for that, I do, only because I want to select those babies in there that's really thriving. I mean, I raise cattle too, and it's the same thing with calves. Genetically, that's going to pass on that spirit to hustle, I want to call it.
Yeah.
And those birds there are going to grow out faster, and hopefully their chicks follow suit. And that's just a personal thing for me. If I'm going to do that at 3 weeks old, I'll weigh those, and I'll select those what I call the fast growers, and I'll put them to the side. And it's not to say that the other birds at 8 to 10 weeks old may not get up there with them in weight, but they didn't get it fast enough for me. And if I can get my birds at 6 weeks old to be butcher weight, I don't have to feed them anymore.
Yep, you're cutting out 2 to 4 weeks of feed.
And I mean, I'm sure there's other people that's kind of in the same boat. They want the biggest bird as fast as they can get it. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want health defects in these birds either. And I seen Jason made a comment, and I'm big on that too. I like to see a lot of leg in my birds. I like to see structure in those birds. I like to see good, smooth curves to the bird, good attitude. I like them to be clean. I like them to look like they should look. But I want that growth. And that means a lot to me. And Aaron touched on it earlier. Each one of us has goals out of their birds. And I think that's good for us to have that diversity. Because if Dwight needs something in his birds and he knows one of us has it, that gives him an opportunity to reach out to one of us and get that. And if I see traits in my birds, let's say they're not consistent, I may reach out to Sean if he has this consistent line of producing these predictable weights. You know what I'm saying? It's good for us to be diverse. But just to answer Kelly's question, I wouldn't say I weigh all my chicks, but when it comes to me selecting breeders for me, I do, because I want those fast growers at 3 weeks, and I'll separate those, and that's the ones I keep, and that's just the way I select mine.
Yeah, I want to add to that. Like, you can take the best breedings. Like, I can take the birds from Shane and Aaron and Sean, and I can have them. They're good bred birds, but if you don't feed them a good quality feed, your bird ain't gonna grow. Your input is what you're gonna get on your output. You know, I feed column block feed here. Shane does too. He sent me some labels, and I tried to get the feed that he feeds, and they will not sell it to me in the region that I live in. It's made for the region that Shane lives in. They will not, I mean, and I'm like 3 hours from the place that makes it, and they will not sell it to me. So we're working on a feed blend here to match what I need. But like I said, find a good quality feed that you like, and it's consistent. I've noticed like a lot of Tractor Supply feed and stuff like that. 1 week it'll be really good. Next week it's got an off smell, or it'll look different color. So you want to stay away from things like that. It's just like with us. If we eat bad food, then we're going to have bad results. So feed a good food and keep it in front of them. You know, that's the biggest thing I learned when I started with quail is it's like my chickens. You know, if they run out today, it's no big deal, but that's a completely different problem. You know, quail runs out of feed, you have big issues quick. But good quality feed. You know, whether it's your local feed mill, or if you like Tractor Supply feed, or you know, your local big box store, then whatever you start them on, you know, keep them on that. Don't go like, oh well, my friend says to feed this, because as soon as you change it, the bird's stressed for a week or two, and they don't want to eat, and they lose weight. So you're losing that week or two that you could have been putting on weight and not stress.
Yeah. It's
that's what we feed. I mean, we feed Kalmbach. We fed Kalmbach. I mean, since the start, you know, that's been our go-to feed. We kind of decided to go the all-natural, non-GMO route. Definitely not a cheap feed. Can't afford organic feed. We would like to have an organic feed, but we're not an organic farm. But we feed the all-natural, non-GMO, and we're kind of running into the same problem Dwight's running into. Is I want to get a good grow-out feed. Right now, we have that to grow out some bigger meat birds. We got our layers. I mean, we make a lot of eggs, and we sell a lot of eggs, not just for hatching. We sell a lot of eggs for eating. We just don't have any extra anymore. We're probably making close to $350 a day now. Kind of crazy how many eating eggs we sell. And that's along, you know, that's not just all eating eggs, but that's important to us, is to produce eggs also, right? I agree. livestock feed is a good one. I wish we were closer so we can go get it in bulk from them.
Yeah. Shane lives about 90 miles from me, give or take. And I can't get the feed he gets. I can't get Kalmbach in my area. Um, I probably within an hour drive, I can't get it. So I have it's a local-ish feed mill that mills the feed. Shane used to get feed from there as well, I believe. Mr. O'Neill's, and I use the game bird crumble, and I use that from day one all the way through. It's a 26%, and that's the only feed I use. I don't use any starter grower. I don't use any layer. That's the only thing I use. It meets my requirements of everything I'm looking for. My birds are healthy. My birds thrive. Now, I've seen Shane's feed, and if I could get that readily available, I would switch to that in a heartbeat. Shane is he's just lucky where he's at. I mean,
well, we got blessed, to be honest with you. We got a good feed guy, Mr. Quail, and we've been getting this Kalmbach feed from a mill that's close here. It used to be owned by Purina called Ware Milling, and then it got bought out by Kalmbach.
You know,
we get it straight from them. I mean, they make it there, and then we buy it in bulk, probably a couple of tons at a time. We buy a starter and a breeder, and starter does exceptional for our chicks, and the breeder, I mean, we get piles of eggs. It's really been a good feed, and plus the Mr. Brian, he's just he's great. I mean, I work awful lot, so he delivers it right here to the farm for Hope, and I don't even have to touch it.
Yeah, that's a good deal. Let's go. Homestead Matters has a question. It says, what's the best, easiest, preferred way to weigh your birds? So I'm gonna say one thing, and then I'll let someone else say it. The best way to weigh your birds is with a scale.
Yeah, you're right. You have to have that.
Whoever question, we're sorry, because we kind of get smarty a little bit. So that's
well, I mean, I weigh my quail a lot, and to talk to that question, Hope ordered a couple of postal scales because I'm pretty meticulous. Like if something, I want to make sure that these scales are accurate, giving me appropriate readings. So we have something with a defined weight, stick it on each one. I make sure these things are pretty calibrated. And I know that's real technical, but I want to know.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we got sorting pins, me and Hope, and we got ranges for these birds. And let's say we're going to do the 3-week-old birds. We have a range set for what these birds are going to weigh for us. And I'll put the birds that meet that weight in the center pin, the ones that exceed it to the right, and the ones that do not to the left. And that's pretty much how we'll do them. We put them in these pins, and we'll go through them, especially if we're selecting breeders for us. They better exceed what the minimum expectation is for us to keep them.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll have the ones that actually just met it. Now we'll hold on to those birds a little while. I'll put them in some pens, like I say, we'll put them in different pens, and then those are the ones that are a little bit smaller, but they go in another one. And normally when we come back, let's say 8 weeks, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference in them birds. A lot of times them bigger birds are a little bit bigger. Those other birds, it goes back to what Aaron said, they've had an opportunity to catch up. Now we use the Schofield chart, me and Hope, as a standard, and that's what we go off of. Now we set ours a few grams above just because we want to continue to strive for excellence in these birds if we can. So I think if you move your bar, an achievable bar somewhere, and you don't see, and me and Sean have these talks too, and if you don't see any, I guess, health problems in the birds, then you should be good. Now, if the birds start getting too big and you see health issues, then you're probably going in the wrong direction with them. But as far as what we weigh with, that's pretty much it. We got a little bucket that me and Hope has. It's actually the bucket we get at Harbor Freight that our LED lights come in. That's what I use to put them birds in. They fit in it perfect. I drill some holes in the lid, snap it on, put it on the scale. And when we get through, we rinse them out and disinfect them. They're ready for the next. but we use them buckets a lot.
Can we share that chart? Is there any way we can share that chart on this chat? So
I probably can get Hope to put it on there, Sean.
That chart's a good chart. We use that chart. It's coming very handy. Our Egyptians have always been smaller than we would like, and we're trying to get them bigger.
Yeah.
So, and that's when we got, we picked up some birds from you and Aaron. Just trying to get our Egyptians bigger. Our wilds are bigger than that chart. I think that chart is it's excellent.
It is, and everybody's got to have something to go by, and that's what we go by. And like I say, if they meet that, that's great. But me and Hope will set a little standard just a hair higher, and that's what we try to shoot for. And I think if everybody does that, it kind of helps improve the breed. As far as what you're looking for in the bird.
And I'll add this: when you're weighing birds, keep notes, because if you don't keep notes, I guarantee you in 5 minutes you'll forget what that bird weighed because something happened. I had to weigh some birds the other day. We all four know, and I sent everybody my weights and like detailed what bird weighed what, because there were some that might have had a white wing or something, and so I knew what farms that come from. That way that guy would know exactly, hey, this bird weighed that, because that shows up in certain lines and we know. But keep detailed weight records, whether it's you and your wife or you and your buddy, when you're in there weighing them, someone's writing down, and you write like pin 1 and you know what they weigh. And then that way, like you go to pin 2 and your pin 1, your hens might be all the weight, but your rooster might not be exactly what you wanted. So you can look through another pin and pick that male that you want to complement that pin that you already have of your females. That way you can, like I said, you got to keep records. If you don't have records, your weights, you just can't keep up with them. I can't keep up with them.
Well, and to add on that, Dwight, Hope, because she's a school teacher, she built us some Google Sheets, little spreadsheets to track the birds on. Well, we bought bands for them, little pigeon bands, leg bands.
Yep.
And when we go out there, especially at the 6-week-old mark, we'll band those birds. And it goes to what Dwight's saying. I'll know where they came from, what their weights were, and we have the birth date on there, the whole 9 yards. Hope will put on there. That way we can track these birds.
Yep.
And of course, I do individual breeding pens at here at the farm, so it's going to have a rooster and about 4 hens. Well, I know every weight on those birds. I try to pair those bigger roosters with my bigger hens, and so forth and so on all the way down. That way I can kind of hopefully predict what my babies will look like. But you're right. If you Hope, sometimes she'll just bring the computer, set it out in the barn on the table, and we're dropping. Yeah. I'm telling you, as we're dropping the birds in, I'm giving her the bird. She's banding them, putting the number in the system, and going from there.
Yep.
And then, of course, these quails, they die. So if we have one that don't make it, Hope will go in there and she'll put deceased. If we know what happened to the bird, she prolapsed, or you know what I'm saying. I'll try to track that too, because it may be some genetic trait there too. I ain't for sure, but it's data that, like Dwight said, if I know it, I'll put it in the sheet in my comment section.
Yep.
But you're right. If you don't put it in then, and you put it somewhere, you're going to lose it, and then you got to go through that process again. Although I do like weighing quails, I don't like doing something a second time.
Yeah, and the big thing with the tracking of it is, if you don't document and you don't have what you did to get to that, it was luck, and luck's hard to reproduce, but if you got pin 32 that you are producing some fast growing large size quail out of your pin 32, then that's something you want to focus on. And you want to trace that bird. You want to trace it back to that pin, and that's what you want to focus on if that is your goal. And I'm saying weight, but it could be feather pattern. It could be a number of things. Whatever trait you're selecting for, if you're not tracking it, then you're just guessing. And I do web clipping. That way I could track birds, because I brood a lot at a time, and I do that because not like so. For me, I'm curious. I'm a tinkerer. I love to tinker, and I'm never finished. And I'm also a dreamer. Christina, I don't want to hear it. I said when I'm never finished, Christina started laughing. Um, so I finished with my project from like 2 months ago that I started. I finished with it today. Christina, calm down. So like I love the colors. I have colors that nobody sees. I have colors that's not. I probably have more colors that's not on my website than what I do have on my website. So because I enjoy colors. So sometimes it's not just weight because some of these colors are small birds. And when I gave Shane some colors, well, I gave Hope the colors. Then
Right.
I told her, do not let Shane weigh these birds because they small birds, they standards, they're not jumbos. And Shane will put it in the no pen real quick, and that bird is getting the axe. So, I think Hope keeps them in her bedroom hidden from Shane.
She does.
But let me back up on Katie's question on how do we weigh the quail. So Shane uses a container. I had made a wire basket out of just some spare wire I had to put quail in and zero my scale. And now I just use a food scooper. I always have a food scooper laying around except for when I'm going to feed quail. When I go to feed, I can't find a food scooper. But when I'm not feeding, I trip over them like it's, I mean, look, I love scales too. I give Shane a hard time on scales.
God, it's grams. Grams. Always grams.
I oh
Grams.
I don't even weigh in grams. I weigh in ounces. And
I
then
know.
so I like when I talk to Shane and we start talking about weights, I give it to him in ounces because I want to create a language barrier.
You got it.
I'm trying to create a language barrier with Shane. But we're always selecting for something. And it could be something as simple as you have a pen of mixed birds, you just hatch all their eggs, and you're like, well, I like this one. You selecting for something, But if you're tracking, then that'll help you reproduce it because if you find something you like, even if you don't care about colors or even if you don't care about size, if you're wanting something specific, then start tracking and find what you like and go with it. And like I breed with intent and purpose. And it's not everybody's thing. Not everybody likes that, but we all have breeding goals in our breeding groups. It's not that serious. If you want to raise quail just to be happy, raise it. Look, an 8-ounce quail, you could eat a couple of them, and it's still a good meal. It's not that big of a deal. It's not enough to stress yourself out and make you not want to raise quail. Like I always tell people, just have fun with it.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, like
I mean, really, we're just trying to meet the range, right? We don't weigh. Every farm does everything a little bit different, but we don't weigh all the time. We just don't because we want to be in the jumbo range.
Because
bird all the time, and like you said, it's different farms are going to do different things and grow different birds. And that's kind of the cool part about it. But when we weigh them at a certain time, as long as they're kind of showing consistency, they're just consistent on the weight, kind of what we're looking for. I would love a 16-ounce bird in 8 weeks every time.
I would like to get a 16-ounce bird in 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard, possible.
Ain't straight out the egg, 16 ounces. I'd go for 10.
Hey, so tell them, I mean, when me and Kim had a little bit of a weight problem that we were concerned about, what did you tell her to do, Aaron, with our eggs?
I don't remember.
Weigh your eggs, right?
Oh, yeah, weighing the eggs. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I hadn't, I have that conversation a lot. And so egg size doesn't necessarily 100% relate to bird size. But
it helps.
It helps. Like chances of hatching out a true jumbo bird out of 11 gram egg, really, the chances are low. Like if I look at 11-gram egg, I'm like, yeah, this won't be a jumbo. So like I asked that egg before I even put it in the incubator. Now there is some eggs that, especially when you get to like the 15 to 17-gram eggs, like 15 gram to 17 gram looks like a double size. Um, I mean, it just does, and I've seen some 17-gram eggs that look small, and I've seen some 15-gram eggs that look big. That's kind of the sweet spot, and there's a few people out there that they like, oh, I want a 22-gram jumbo eggs as true jumbo. Not really. Like when then that's when I say like the size egg doesn't necessarily translate to the size bird. Like if you got a 17-gram egg, if like all my eggs are 17 and yours are 22, that doesn't mean that your birds are gonna necessarily be larger. Um,
Just
it's
gives you a
just
baseline to start at.
yeah.
And I can
So I
tell
had
you, go
go
ahead,
ahead,
boy.
Shane. No, go
No,
ahead.
you go ahead. I can hold mine.
So I had a problem last. I had a problem last year. Wait a minute. Recuperate here. So I had a problem last year. Like I was getting like a lot of these big eggs. Like Aaron was talking about those 21, 22 ounce eggs. So I was thinking that's what I want. I want to breed those. I want to breed those quail lay those big eggs. I ended up culling two whole pens that I created because in turn to make that big egg, I started getting double yolks,
You
and the
don't want
double yolks were consistent. So then they were failure to thrive. They wouldn't hatch. So I had these great big eggs, and I wasted 16 days in incubator space because I got nothing. And when you're selling eggs, if you got one customer that gets those 21-gram eggs and someone gets a 17-gram egg, they're gonna be upset, especially if they know each other because they're like, oh well, he got the great big egg. So like Aaron was saying, get that sweet spot that you like and try to make it consistent. But getting the too big of egg is a bad thing. I learned that the hard way. A lot of time, a lot of breeding is like selecting that bird, tracking it, and then I made something I couldn't use.
And there's other problems that come with big eggs. I can tell you because we get them too.
Yep.
And I've had this conversation with Aaron. Kind of to me, the sweet spot on them eggs is probably around that 16, 17 grams, guys, grams.
That's the only thing I measure in grams
But
legally.
anyhow, if they get bigger than that, we'll take those eggs. Anything bigger than that, we sell them for eating eggs. I mean, they'll hopefully keep them for eating eggs. I mean, they're still good eggs. Somebody's going to utilize those eggs, but you'll end up having problems even with us shipping them. Sometimes our eggs are big. And I even talked to Aaron about that. They're so big, and Sean, I'm sure you, Dwight, y'all may know, you stick them in the egg phones, and if they're so big, they're going to end up breaking during the shipment. Either too long, they're so fat, they crush against the other. So being selective on them eggs, it's important, and having consistent eggs. So having a bird that has, just a hair smaller egg, it's not a horrible thing because there's benefits to that too. But I know for us, I like to see them consistent. If they can stay around that 16-ish gram for us, we're happy with that. And we didn't pay a lot of attention to the egg weight. I weigh a bunch of birds, but Aaron, I remember visiting with him about something one day, and he was like, Shane, do you weigh the eggs? And we never really did. When we started weighing them, we had some heavy eggs in there. So just trying to focus on, some range for them, it's beneficial.
Yeah, I don't even weigh eggs anymore, and that's a kind of a generalized statement because I don't weigh eggs because I weighed so many and I handled so many that I could grab the egg and I could tell you pretty dang close to what it is. And I will verify myself here and there, but to say like I weigh every egg I incubate, I don't do it anymore just because of it's very time consuming, number one, and I'm confident in my ability of picking a good egg without weighing an egg. Shane seen me in action before picking eggs, weighing them. I handled so many of them that I'm looking at size and shape because I know about the weight. I'm going to be close on with the weight. Now I will do it like when I start replacing breeders, then I'll be more specific and more intentional when I'm selecting eggs. That I'm comparing eggs side by side, looking for size and shape and weight and and stuff like that. I'll do it then, but every hatch, no, I don't do it, and I'm a fan of it, but I don't do it. Lane is pretty dang good at weighing eggs. You could throw him a few trays and let him weigh them, and he'll go to town. And you see, here we are rambling on, and we missed one of the best questions we got so far. Timber Ridge Quail Farm is asking, "What is our favorite color quail and why?" Um, I'm gonna tell you that my favorite color quail is one that I won't talk about yet. That's so not yet.
I
What?
uh, I like the ranges. Me and Hope have recently ended up getting some of those, and I like that bird. I like that color, and I'm a base guy. I mean, I like base colors. I
Mhm.
wouldn't say I'm a guy that's into a lot of different colors. I mean, I like our browns, whites, our Tibetans. I just like our standard base colors. But the range, Hope can probably tell you, it's probably one of my favorite. I just like that look of that bird. That's just me. Everybody's got their own thing they look for, I guess.
My
Yeah.
favorite
I
bird,
like
brown,
I like the Egypt.
wild. Always have loved the wild. I mean, that's just if I could raise nothing but brown or wild or pharaoh, whatever whoever calls it. That's my favorite bird. I'd have a barn full of them. It just seems like there is an all around good bird. But people do want colors, and we're like Shane. We're pretty basic. I mean, we don't. Um, we've dabbled in a few colors, but we really keep it basic on colors because we're doing more of a homestead, type of bird than just colors. But that's the cool thing about everybody is if I need a color, I know who to call. We have some good looking blacks. You know what I mean? We like them.
Yeah. I need to get you some more.
We like them. I mean, and they sell. We like those birds. So
Yeah.
And
What you like?
I like the Egyptian. I like it because I like that rougine. I got red beard. I like a red quail. But my big thing
is
is what
that beard
color.
red or white? I mean,
It's both
what
now.
what is that right there? It looks great to me.
It's gray. I earned it. But
So there.
my favorite collar of quail, like I said, I like Egyptian, but my most favorite collar is feather sexable. Just straight
Right.
up. Whether it's a pharaoh, a red, you know, uh, a a sex link. I like feather sexable birds because I don't want to wait 6 weeks if I don't have to tell which are males and which are females. Because I have some reptile people that buy them. They want that smaller quail, so I can sell that quail at 3 weeks old as soon as I know that it's a male, so I don't have to grow
Yeah.
out every quail.
I think that's the best answer I've heard today because really that is feather sexable. I love it. It's so easy, right? I mean, anybody can do it. I
Yeah,
mean, almost at 3.5 weeks, at 3.5 weeks, you can a lot of times tell that bird what it is. I mean, it's so nice to be able to do that.
and
Yeah.
coming from us for a homesteading side of it, time is money, money's speed. We're wanting to save every bit we can. But like I said, when you got collars, you got to wait a little longer. But if you're wanting to cut that cost as far as feed, your time growing out, a feather sexable bird. Browns, pharaohs, Egyptian or brown pharaoh, Egyptian, Italians. That base collar. But, then you can kind of branch out and find you a nice collar you want. But if you're wanting to grow birds, that feather sexable has already been made. That jumbo is already there. It's it's established. So
Yeah.
you can find good birds that way.
Yeah, and he's right, and that's probably the I guess struggle a lot of people have when you got birds that are not feather sexable. And me and Hope has them. We got whites and Tibetans, and they're not feather sexable. But a lot of those birds, I mean, we'll make pet food out of them, sell them for eating. So I don't care if they're a hen or a rooster.
Yep.
I just go to the pen, I pull them, and I dispatch them. And as long as they're hitting the weight I need, that's really what I'm using them for. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. What are you doing with your birds?
Yeah.
So those whites I got and those Tibetans are probably some of my biggest birds. So, I mean, just because they're not feather sexable for me,
Yeah.
I don't want to get them out of my stock. I keep them because I got a spot for them.
Yep.
Like Dwight said, for them, knowing what's roosters and hens, he needs to know that, and it's different for each one of us.
Yeah. I have quite a few feather sexables, and then I have several that are not feather sexable. And everything has its different purpose. I'm pretty good at vent sexing at an early age on the non-feather sexables. But on my feather sexables growing out, I separate males and females at 3.5 weeks. When I sort them, I'm separating them, and I can't like to keep the males away, because if I'm going to grow those males out and hold on to them, if they've never been exposed to a female and they reach sexual maturity, they'll be less aggressive in an entire cage with all males. Now, I mean, if you let them around a couple females and then you pull them away from the females, they like, hey, buddy, what's going on here? I want to go back in that old life I was living. And then they tend to beat up on each other a little bit. If not, then it's just a gang of brothers that's living together, and they seem to be less aggressive when you're growing out a large group of just males.
And I can tell you, Aaron, I want to touch on that while you're talking about it, because that's the facts. At 3 weeks old, all of our feather sexables, me and Hope sort through. And all my roosters will get their own cage. And there's benefits to us doing that. Number one, if I got bullies in there, I can start spotting them early. And I got a spot for them. And anything else in there, if them boys are getting along, and I'm doing some of the pens that we have, I'll put 10 hens, 2 roosters. Well, if I grab those roosters from here, they've already been together. They're used to each other. They normally get along. And I don't have that many, aggression issues out of them birds, because they've been with a group of roosters, for weeks. So they normally will get along. So that's a benefit for us of doing that. And then my non-feather sexables, of course, we got to wait till we start hearing them crow, and then we start sorting them over into their little bachelor pens until I'm ready. And it's the same thing there. To start seeing those birds get aggressive, they don't stay. And I try to find a couple of roosters that actually make weights that get along to put them in there with the group of hens I've selected for them. So there are advantages to having those little bachelor pens to let them males kind of work those aggression issues out if there's any present.
Yeah, like I hold on to 2 males, and I cycle through them, but I always have some males laying around, just for the purpose of, let's say I lose one, I don't want to lose fertility in that cage because I'm selling hatching eggs. So I got another rooster on standby living in a bachelor pad, and I'll call him up, off the farm team to the protein, and let him go to work. So I always sometimes I find myself that I'm holding on to males for an excessive amount of time, and I'm like, wait, I got this cage of males that's older than this cage of males. I got to get rid of them, because I cycle through that way. My males are always semi-fresh, because that's one thing I believe in: high fertility. So that's a tough cycle, and that's another thing that you gotta know. You gotta know how old they are, and there's a lot of moving parts to it. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, man, this is not what I want to do, it might be a little bit too much involved for me to raise quail. You don't have to do any of that. I mean, it goes back to, you could just raise quail how you want to raise quail. Like, you could, for years, I just raised quail. Like, I just raised quail, and I was happy.
Don't make it not fun. Make it fun. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Raise a good quality product. Provide good quality customer service. When somebody messages you, answer them. Ship them the best way you can. If you're trying to get it, if you're just doing it for homesteading, just raise a good quality, healthy quail. I mean, I think sometimes we can get drawn out real fast.
Yeah. Then you get burnt out.
Yeah.
You know. you get overwhelmed, and then you'll get the burnout. And like for us Southerners here, um, if anyone ever raised quail in the summertime in the South, I mean that'll put you to the limit right there. I mean, it's just you're gonna have flies. It's gonna be hot. Quail are gonna struggle in the heat. Poop trays are gonna smell 10 times worse. Um, they're gonna have some kind of water issue, leaking water into poop trays. I mean, everything that could go wrong is gonna go wrong during the summertime in the South, and it'll be absolutely terrible because summertime maybe you're trying to go on vacation, or maybe you're in a hurry, and then of course it's hot as Hades here right now. So everything's gonna go wrong, and you're gonna be irritated because it's hot. Nobody likes to be irritated, especially us guys. We some big men, um, so we sweating, and you sweating. You got wet poop running down your arm, and I mean it's just problem after problem. And I mean if you could do it, if you could raise quail in summertime in the South, you got it. You made it. If you pull through a whole season, you made it. Doesn't get any worse than
Are there
that.
any other questions? But one thing that in all the research we did, with and trying to find out how to do this the best way, what was never mentioned? We're new to this. I mean, we've been doing it 2.5 years now, and it's grown really good for us. But um, without somebody like Aaron and Myshire and Well 101 and different things that we've used and all the information out there. But what was never mentioned? The dander that them birds make.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know if there's anybody really new to quail. we started ours in our garage. Oh my gosh, that stuff got in our attic. I mean, your house starts stinking. I mean, you're like, oh my gosh. Nobody said anything about dander and how much they poop. But it's a lot, and I mean, it doesn't matter if you clean the poop tray out like today. I mean, 30 minutes later, it's going to stink. So, I would advise, unless if you're going to raise 10, 15, maybe 20, 2 cages in your garage, maybe you'd be all right. But if you're going to do a 5-tier, like we had three 5-tiers, I don't recommend it. It makes a lot of dander, a lot of poop, and it's just not. My son wouldn't even bring anybody to the house. It's bad.
Yeah. I'm gonna hop back into the comments section because I think we're about 30 minutes behind on comments. Not too bad. 35 to be exact. So Kelly saying, "Yep, Shane, I love how fast yours hit jumbo. I need them to have that growth in the city because I can't wait for roosters to grow out and be loud." Yeah, she can't have roosters or a minimal amount of roosters. Let's say that. She's technically not supposed to have it at all, but we like that gray area. We like the gray area, not the gray beard. Calm down, Shane. Not the gray beard. Yeah.
I need to get some red dye like Dwight.
Yeah, you're gonna get that Rugine.
Well, yeah, Rugine. I got plenty of it, but
yeah. There's Christina saying y'all don't forget to hit the thumbs up, and we got more people in here watching than we do likes. Sure, we got some lurkers lurking around, so hope you enjoy it.
How many people? I'm on my phone. So how many people are following us right now? How many?
We got 19 watching.
19.
Yeah.
better than we had before we started.
Yeah. There's Alex Smith. Oh, nice collaboration. Yep. I hope you I'm sure you stopped watching by now, Alex, but I hope you're feeling better. Homestead Matter says Aaron gets dad joke of the year. Yeah, that's about my scale comment. Best way to weigh quails with a scale. There's another bald headed bearded man. Brad Landry says, "What's up, fellas?" Yeah. We're just sitting here, being bald and bearded. Some of us are bald. Yes, Wysocki says, while leaning into your pins, do your quail try to comp your beards? My hair is long, and each time I lean in there, they're snapping in my strands. No,
Got
Well, Shane and Dwight got bigger beards than me and Sean.
I think they probably got a quail in there right now laying an egg.
I have a emotional support quail.
Service quail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he don't service, I eat him.
Yeah. No, mine's my quail. I could stick my hand in the pen and they'll be fine, and they just kind of walk around. And the minute I grab one, then every time I stick my hand in, they just all drift away from it. They don't really get spooked easily, and that's probably because Christina's in there with a leaf blower every couple of days, blowing off the floor.
Yeah, but every time you stick your hand in the quail cage, the one that you get don't come back.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's like, Pete, he doesn't come back.
No, he's gone.
Yeah.
So my quail have acclimated to being handled. So like running a leaf blower or bad weather really doesn't interfere with their laying. That's one thing that we strive for, to just to have consistent laying. That I'll have a spot when we change over to from. So I live in the South. We have winter, summer. That's it. The spring and fall, I don't know what y'all talking about with spring and fall. We don't have that. You either hot or cold. Sometimes you both in one day. But we'll have that couple week period when we're switching over from winter to summer, and then from summer to winter again. That they'll just slow down laying. It's not necessarily a molt. It's more of just they get acclimated and then they'll pick back up. But I don't want my quail to be spooked by any noise or anything like that, because I mean sometimes I'll have my dogs in the barn and they're not really spooked by anything. I think that the cat, we have a barn cat and he's scared of the quail. I'll have the door open, he'll walk in there, a rooster will crow, he runs out of there. He runs out of there like somebody kicked him. He's scared of them quail. I don't know. The quail not scared of him. Kelly's asking, what kind of bands do you use, Shane?
I just reached out to Hope to share the link. It's just like a pigeon band or something.
Okay.
She orders them off Amazon there.
Is it a little clip band or is it a?
Yeah, it's a plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Hope said she shared it on there. Dwight, it's just a plastic clip one. I think it's an 8mm.
Yeah, I got a bunch for the homers. Yeah.
Yeah, because it took us a little while to find some that actually fit, that either didn't fall off or they were too tight, because some of the legs on them quail, they're pretty big. Yeah. So you got to have one that'll, don't give them any discomfort,
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. So Kelly again. That's so true. Luck is hard to reproduce. Yep. My worst skill is note taking on my flock, flat out. I'm great at so many other things, but notes isn't one. I find like have something to write on at all times, whether it be a dry erase board or something like that. Just have something to write on, a notepad or anything, a Sharpie on your hand. I mean, anything like that. If you just have something to take a note on that you could transfer it to a master thing, because I could tell you if you have like a notebook and say like, this is my quail only notebook, you're going to end up with poop on the sheets if you tote it around everywhere. You're going to end up with poop. You're going to end up with water. You're going to have feed on there. You probably smash a fly in it. I mean, you'll end up with a mess. I guarantee it. But if you have something just to jot notes down on. Kelly also says, Shane calls like Christina, right? Better not sneeze around either. Oh, listen. Christina doesn't play around. If you sick around here, you done. Don't even like get an injury. You done. Christina doesn't nurse anything back to health. That's why you see me. I'm in peak health right now. If my leg is broken, I'm not telling her because she'll just done. Christina doesn't nurse. Christina doesn't nurse anything.
Hope's done got that mentality. When I start on our butcher day, anything that even looks like it may have an issue, she'll bring, you need to put this one down. I got to really look at it then, like, what's wrong with it? I seen it had a little off movement.
Yeah.
To the bucket.
It didn't look right.
Yeah.
We tried that early. We tried to, the ones that would get scalped or hurt, or we'd try to put them in another thing by themselves, and we'd get them healed back up, and they'd go back in there, and guess what? the same thing would happen again. So there's no hospitals here. There's no recovery centers. There's no rehab. You're gone.
Yeah.
Deported. Oh,
Hey,
oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna edit that one.
Yeah. Basically, you thrive or you don't survive around here. We're
Right.
breeding for health, and you know, thrive or don't survive. And Christina's the Grim Reaper.
hey, and that
Um,
when we're talking to our customers, we tell them, listen, this is what we do. If you're raising a quail for a pet, or it's just different when you raise them for a production, or you raise them for it's just how you want. We tell them, you do not have to do that. Put it in, take care of it, try to rehab it if you can. It
yeah.
might. We've just taken it on that we don't do that here. I mean, like
So
everybody.
this is what I do to explain to my customers. I do the hard calling. That way they don't have to.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, and we have. I say we don't nurse anything back to health. We have played around with nursing injuries and stuff like that back to health, just so when our customers call and like, hey, I had this happen, what do I do? We have experience with it because I mean, honestly, like a bird, like I mean, a real bad scalping, the whole head's bloody. We've all seen it.
Oh yeah.
I'm I'm gonna call it and feed it to the dogs, you know. But I don't want to be disrespectful to someone who's raising it as a pet and looks at it. For me, it is food. It is a commodity for me. But I want to be respectful to the person that is a pet for them.
Well, and some of
So
those people, Aaron, like you said, they got limited numbers. They don't have the numbers of birds that we have. So to them, they try to, I don't want to say cherish what they got, but I mean, if they came to you and they bought them birds, they're excited. They want them to make it. So
yeah,
they're going to do everything in their power to try to make sure that bird survives. But for somebody like us, I mean, we got multiple birds. I mean, if me and Hope tried to save every one of them that something happened to, we just don't have enough time in the day. We don't. And we still have a purpose for them birds. Any bird that doesn't make it here, it gets repurposed for something else.
yeah,
There's things that we can do with that bird. It does not get wasted. We'll use it for something else in our operation, whether it be compost or you know what I'm saying, or pet food or whatever. If they don't make it, then we do something with them. But every person is different.
yeah. And like for me, I have three quail names. Three. Okay. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's it. Um, it's just I don't know. I am respectful towards the people that raise them as pets, and I understand that they have a large group of people that raise quail just not even for the eggs, just to raise quail because they enjoy it, and I understand because I enjoy it also.
Right.
Now, I eat their eggs and I eat the quail, but I also enjoy the quail, so I could relate with that. So it's helpful when someone reaches out, whether they're a customer or not. If they're just a quail raiser that like, hey, I had a bad injury in my cage. I got this quail it's scalped, and quail are pretty resilient, and they'll grow back. They'll heal themselves if you isolate them and you take the time with them. They will grow back. That now chances are the fellas won't be correct on it, and they'll get picked on again. But they bounce back. Quail are better than chickens. I can tell you that. But we won't get into that one tonight because that we'll go down a bad road because I don't really care for chickens too much.
I said I wasn't going to raise any more chickens, and now we got 60 out there, and we're looking at making more because I don't know. I'm the same way.
I
I
gotta
don't
ask
like.
one. I gotta ask a question. Do you
Yes,
just
sir.
not like chickens because? I was just curious.
I think Dwight gets the dad joke question. He won it right there. The joke.
He won the dad joke
He
question.
got that one.
Um.
Oh, no.
Oh man, I say I don't like chickens. It seems like okay, chickens just take so much longer than quail for anything. They take up more space, and I like for the past several months I've been airing my grievances on how I don't like chickens. And every time I walk in the backyard, it seems like we have more chickens. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna shut my big mouth and not say anything bad about chickens again, and see if the chicken population starts dropping. Because I sit on here every Saturday night and I say how much I don't like chickens, and when I go walk outside, it's like, man, I got 6 more chickens back here, and I see Christina smuggling eggs into the incubator, and and then locking down full trays of chicken eggs, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna shut up because what I'm doing is not working, obviously. But she's passionate about it, and I kid about it. She loves her silkies, and I mean, really, the silkies are not a bad chicken to have. They're not loud. They don't take up a bunch of room. They don't cause a bunch of ruckus. Um, and it makes her happy. So we could agree to disagree, and I'll just allow the chickens because some of them are beautiful. Some of them are.
I think there's probably a rephrase on that. I mean, it's not necessarily that I don't like chickens, but I don't like chickens for profit. Does that make sense? Because it seems like now if you're doing, I mean, Shane and them, they raise a bunch of them and sell the hatching eggs for them. I think there's probably some money in that, but we've just done the pricing and hatching the chicken, how long it takes to get it to an egg. But we've always enjoyed them, having them on our farm, and we got them that we enjoy. But it's just the math just hardly works out when it comes to selling an egg. You know what I mean? Like eating.
Yeah.
But we like watching them. You know what I mean? We got 60 something over there.
You know what makes me not like hate the silkies is those suckers. You could put a rock under them, and they'll go broody and sit on and try to hatch out a rock. So I know the long term, if there is some kind of big disaster, that I could continue on incubating my flock, whether it be chickens or, I mean, I'm sure we could get some to hatch out some quail and then pull them from them. I'm sure it's a thing. But I know the silkies, you could eat them. We've eaten them before. I mean, the meat's black, but I mean, chicken, it still tastes like chicken. So long term for homestead, and that is where my base is homesteading. I think they are a great homesteading animal.
That's our buffs are real broody like that. I mean, they're we passed out a bunch, and that's what we have over there. They're kind of like our pets. We like our golden comets for an eating egg. They're just real docile. They just make a good egg. But our buffs, big buffs, I mean, they will hatch an egg, and it's kind of crazy how good they are. And we let them do it. You know what I mean? Just to bring some more in, just so, like you said, for a good homesteading bird that you can reproduce and keep your own flock. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. So we got Tim with 340 quail farms here. It says made it finally. Hey Tim. Tim's from Florida. Then we have Dinosaur Omelet. It says they make me happy. Oh, I guess I missed your first comment, Chris. Welcome. So I had shared it for a minute, but then it made us all small. Hope saying here's our scale: 2 weeks 80 grams, 3 weeks 130, 4 weeks 200, 5 weeks 240, 6 weeks 280. Then shoot for 330 at 8 weeks. Do not keep anything less. Yep. Okay, Christine's telling me we got some questions, so we're scrolling down there. We're gonna get us to some questions because if not, I mean, we could just get off of the stream and we could really do the bearded quail, man.
That a boy, you got her out there. You got her out there working, don't you?
No. So Jason says I'm going to weigh some birds in between innings of this LSU game. Yeah, roll Tide. Oh yeah. Hope saying our favorite or best layers are jumbo whites, our biggest are Tibetan tuxedo. So we have several favorite colors for different reasons. I agree, and that's kind of my thing. Like I have favorite colors. I guess my favorite color I would say
tuxedo.
Like no. No tuxedo and no sparkly.
He likes the Rue gene also.
No, I like American pansy. That is it's a good dual purpose bird. American pansy, they lay good eggs. It's a good bird size. It's a beautiful color. It's kind of all around. For me, it's a bird that I truly enjoy having around and playing with it. Um, I'm just not a fan of sparkly, and it's probably because aside from a couple forms, the people that have sparkly is it's trash. It's just it's basically just a glittered up mutt. So I just never really got into it. Um, let's see. So Amanda Smith says I think we could get the best of both worlds, colors and dual purpose. I agree. Jason's says he just weighed a 5.5 week old white, 17 ounces.
Jason got good birds.
Yeah, Jason, you sure it's not a Cornish cross? he might be taking those LSU Jello shots up there.
How many grams is that, Shane?
Yeah,
I don't want to get into the weeds with you boys. It'd take y'all too long to decipher.
yeah. You see that Sean. Now you see why I like Jason. Jason's gonna give it to me in ounces.
That's what I'm talking about. Maybe we need to bring him on here.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. He needs to grow out a beard. Jason likes to shave.
Not every man can grow one of these boys. It takes dedication. And lots of, I think quail poop is fertilizer for that.
Might be. Yeah. So let's see.
Every time I talk to Shane, he's going over. He's telling me all the weights of his birds, and I'm trying to find out if we're doing good here. Good night. I got my phone out. I got the conversion table. I'm trying to convert all this. I mean, golly, it feels like I called overseas somewhere.
Stock market.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got Ben Whitley. Do you use an app or software to keep track of everything, age, weight, etc.?
We use Sheets, Aaron. Google Sheets. I think that's what Hope has them on. It's nothing we paid for.
Yeah, which it's Excel basically. Ben, when I get to my other computer, I could send you like a blank chart of stuff that you can input your own data into, or you could print it and keep it in paper form. I'm kind of like a hybrid computer printed, and then every now and then I marry those things together. But you don't really need anything fancy either. You could just do a dang pen and paper notebook, just keep track of it, and you could buy these color bands like what Shane uses, and they're numbered, and you just if it's bird number 23 that's in pen number 5, and so you could track it down like that, and if you ever move it, you can move it around. It's and that's kind of like what Shane does, what Hope does. Shane doesn't. Shane's on here talking about I do this, I do that, but
I'm representing my wife here.
Yeah.
I'm here to represent her and all her efforts in the quail business.
Yeah.
We can't grow one.
Yeah. Hey, we got to give them kudos. We wouldn't have squat if it wasn't for them.
Oh, no.
And I want to add, Jason's got my back. That's 481 grams, boys, on that 17 ounces. That's my man right there.
But he had to do the conversion. When we talking to you, I'm like, I got to break out a calculator and like, Shane's like, oh, it's this many grams, and if I could grow a couple more grams, like, what is it in ounces? I got my conversion chart out.
Well, my Google Sheet Hope has, it has grams and ounces, so it converts them in the formula.
Yeah.
For people
I want to hear like 14.3 ounces from you, not grams.
It's hard. It's kind of like Cajun language. It's hard to spit it out there.
Absolutely.
Talking about languages, we got a mix going here tonight, don't we?
I think the wife's got us
on his collar.
Oh yeah, he's on it, bub.
I mean, you got collars and collard greens. I mean, and cooler. That's a big thing. My brother in South Carolina, his wife, say cooler for me while you're here. I like the
You
way
don't
you
have to,
talk.
you don't have to take that abuse, Dwight.
I don't, but oh well, keeps everybody hopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aaron, you better move on these questions before you get hammered.
My wife's not in the room, so I could do what I want to
You
do.
can do what you want. She's like my wife. My wife's not in the room, but she's on her phone in the other room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Policing
that.
us.
So Kelly's saying, don't tattle on my illegal activities. Now, I plan on doing more sex links for that reason, Dwight. Yeah, she's it's just it's a silly law. I don't. Yeah, we're not gonna get into that because that would be a mess.
Yeah, laws is for the next video, the next live stream, because that's a whole nother mess.
Yeah, but that's when we turn off the recording.
Yeah.
Homestead Matter says Happy Father's Day to all the dads. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Christina's saying I like to bother the quail as much as possible so nothing bothers them. Leaf blowers, fans, power tools, pressure washer, all of it. Yeah. Like we in there. We living in there, and just I don't want them to be so shy and shocked if anything new comes along. That way, if you do add a new bird into a cage, it's not going to disturb them. It's not going to disturb their laying. I don't like any freeloaders any more than what I need to have. So I want them laying maximum production. My hens I'm replacing at 12 to 14 months. My roosters are a lot less than that. So, I mean, I don't want anything just sitting here eating feed. I raised a bunch of kids, so I already lived that life, and I want production out of everything.
So when you were talking about you didn't want anything bothering your quail, leaf blowers, stuff like that. So I have fans on mine, but I also play a radio.
Yeah.
In my quail barn, because when new people are in there talking, like I said, if they're not been around anybody, they go acting kind of weird. I don't play. I play them some nice slow love songs. I don't. Nah, not no wrong turn stuff. I'm not that part of West Virginia.
What was that TV show? The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia?
That's Boone County. That's a couple hours from me.
No, only a couple hours though.
Yeah, well, West Virginia's a big state. It takes about 7 hours to cross it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's our
road trip, boy.
Trip.
Yeah, that was an amazing show.
Yeah, you ought to meet them in person.
Oh, you see, you know them.
Oh, yeah, I've met them. Yeah, I've met them.
Family reunion.
Yeah. They weren't invited, but they showed up.
That's what you was caught up in last night.
I was in Mingo County last night, and that's a whole nother world in itself too. You guys come up, I'll take you on a big trip.
I'm ready.
Oh no.
I'll take you on down in the big mountains.
Oh Lord.
Where the men are men and the sheep are scared.
Hey, they scared here too. What are you talking about?
Sheep ain't got no horn.
All right, next question.
Oh yeah. Moving on. So Steve says, I don't think that 2 days of winter in the South counts as actual winter. I agree. So Tim at 340 Quail says, what's everyone's spare male policy?
That's a good question.
So I do keep spare males of each color. I do selectively when I'm sorting males. I do select males for traits that I'm looking to add into my flock, and then once I meet my target number of roosters that I want to add into my cages, any other ones that meet those standards get set in a cage together. That way, if I have an injury or something like that with one of my primary males, then I have another one that already meets the standard. I'm not trying to hunt one down, because if you're in a panic and you need to add a rooster into that cage, you might make a bad decision to add something you normally wouldn't add into that cage. You know, on a normal day, you'll lower your standards just to meet that fertility. And if you have it spare on deck, really, if you have a few of them, it won't cost you a ton in feed just to hold on to it for a little while, and it it's a safety net. So it's kind of like an added expense. It's kind of like purchasing insurance, life insurance. No one really wants to purchase life insurance, you know, but it's kind of like, hey, let me get a little life insurance here, or homeowners insurance, or any kind of insurance. It's just an insurance policy. It's just a necessary expense. Um, I'll let everyone else answer.
Yeah, we do the same thing. We got like some single breeder pens, just single hole pens. And of course, as we go through the weights, when we do that sorting, like I say, we'll keep extras. I'll probably keep two browns, two whites, pretty much two of everything. I'll have there just in case something happens to one of the birds. I mean, we've had them before fly and hit their head on top of the pen and kill them. And if we don't have a replacement rooster, we in trouble. So normally we'll have them, and as many as we hatch out. I mean, we normally got a few in the grow out pen that we just hadn't got to yet. But I try to keep at least a couple of adults, breeding age roosters in those breeding setups as backups. And plus, we rotate some of the, especially our white roosters, across some of the Tibetan hens for our tuxedos. So I normally keep a few of them extra.
Yeah. What about you, Dwight? You
I'm just
keeping this?
happy to have quail. I keep extra, but so my numbers are down right now from what I had last year. Just restructuring and different things. So
Been a
I'm
been a rough
I'm
weather, Dwight. I mean, y'all
yeah,
had some.
it was a rough winter for me. It was pretty rough here. Um, but I I I keep like I might keep one extra male, maybe two, because I don't want to feed them, and my numbers I don't have to keep that many right now. So like I'm I'm in that right now. Like if they don't make weight by the certain time, I don't keep them. I don't even chance it. I don't hold them back to let them grow. I just get rid of them. I got some quail the other day from a friend of mine, and he actually had he was raising quail that was out of the bloodline that I used to have, so I knew what they were, and I bought some, and I bought a not a lot, but I bought a group from him, and there was more males in there than what I wanted, but I'm going to cull them because I don't need them. I've got better males to use on the hens that I got.
I mean, we always have roosters available. I mean, it's but again, it comes down to what are you doing? You know, what I mean, how many birds do you have? Is it a quail for profit type deal, or is it a homestead deal on
Yeah,
hatching? Do you need 5 to 1? Everybody doesn't need 5 to 1. You
yeah,
don't have to high hatch rate. So, but with us, well, we always have quail in the grow out bin, right? We always have quail in the incubator. We always have it in the brooder. So do we have them set aside especially to replace a rooster? No, but we can go into that pen that we're growing out for some of our customers that buy them for the butcher and eat. We also sell birds, to our falconers, our frozen birds that we sell for the falconers. So there's always birds in that rooster pen because, like y'all said earlier, is once we can tell what they are, they're out of that pen, right? They don't stay in the brooders with the hens because all they do is cause problems. So uh, they're added into the pens just for breeders. Um, I think we always have 6 week old birds ready to go. Um, almost, I can't think of a time we need more cages to do it, but because we're always growing out for falconers, and we only have a few falconers, 3 or 4 that would come back to us all the time. But when they buy a group, they buy a bunch, So we always have them ready. That's kind of how we do it. They're always in the grow out cage, and then you grab the big ones. Roosters are hard to. They're smaller than your hen. we're still trying to get them bigger. And, they're not as big as we like.
Yeah. So scientifically, the hen should be bigger because of the eggs developing. So like if you got a 17-gram egg inside a hen, it should be theoretically it should be 17 grams heavier than the rooster. Not counting the other eggs developing along the process, but we won't go too crazy into that. Here's the king of dad jokes. Mr. S.O. Swanson says, "My hospital for quail is the deep freezer."
Yep.
I agree with Steve.
Yeah, I don't agree with Steve much, but I agree with him there. So Kelly says, "Steve, remember that one time someone put one to live in the freezer because you told him to put it in the freezer?" Yeah. So in a group that had a quail causing trouble, and Steve was like, put him in the freezer. So I mean, it was several days go on, and she made another post about the bird was alive in the freezer in a tote.
The white, you could have used some of them during the storm.
I could use that genetics. Who had that bird? I need cold hardy bird.
So I mean, and I mean,
I can put them in the cooler.
yeah. So Steve says, "Yep, I have to be careful with wording for the newbies."
But how long did it live in the freezer?
It was several days.
What happened? It slowed down the metabolism, Sean, to where it could survive without needing water or food.
No.
There's a market for quail that can live in cold weather. I have people ask me all the time, well, can I turn them out and they'll live in the wild? And I'm like, no, but if I had that genetics, yes, I could sell those birds.
I think we need some of them eggs.
Ooh, that's yeah. So my friend Larry Lyons here says, "Hello guys, sorry I just got here. I had a lot going on building aviary." Hey Larry, where Larry's gonna be watching us live and in person for Gulf School's Homesteading Convention.
That's awesome.
He's coming down from East Tennessee. Actually, I have his hat on. Larry sent me this hat, and I love it. I love the colors of it. I love it so much that I don't have them with me. But on my day job, we got a bunch of hats made with the same color scheme because I like the color.
How many people are that are on here watching right now are coming to They're going to come see us, hang out.
I hope Jason can make the trip. It's a long trip, but so he's not allowed within 50 miles of Shane's house because you can't get these two boys together around Shane's house. But we always meet up at a truck stop parking lot before the sun comes up on Saturday mornings and hang out there. But I would like to see him at Shane's house.
He might make it.
Yeah,
that's what I see at. I thought it was something else.
Larry's gonna be there. Steve's gonna be there. I'm trying to think of who else. Kelly is a maybe.
Truck stop, mama.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else is in here. Brad's gonna be there. There's a few of them in here. Larry says I have both, and the only reason I have them is for family eating eggs. Otherwise, I like my quail better. No, he's talking about chickens. Man that loves the American pansy. Jason says 481, but Shane already caught that comment. Jason says he has a goatee. He doesn't care for a beard too hot. I agree. Let's see. Jason says, Aaron, when you have to add that spare male to an established group of hens, do you have a process to introduce them to avoid being beat up by the girls? So typically, what I like to do is I like to add when I add in birds into an existing covey. I like to have somewhere around 10% of the existing birds in there. Add that quantity into to create enough disruption. That way, they don't isolate and pick on one bird specifically. So even if that includes pulling out the other males and then adding them back in, which I mean, I move. So yeah, I'm gonna get deep, dark, and personal here.
Uh-oh.
I probably move birds around way more than I need to. Like I'll move birds from this cage way over here at the top, and then put them across the barn in another cage at the bottom. So I move birds around a lot, and they really don't stop laying. Um, I moved all my Egyptian fees from the back side of the barn and put them on the front side of the barn, and combined two cages into one, and they never missed a beat on lay. They don't really get disrupted. So Christine just said we traumatize them on a regular basis, so they really I don't have that issue. So I could literally pull every bird out, mix them up, and throw them all back in the cage, and I won't have disruption on laying until I get a huge order for that color. Then if I walk by the cage and breathe wrong, then they'll stop laying. But that's that's because they're connected to the internet, so they know where the orders are coming. And if I get a big order of one specific color, they'll just that color will just stop laying. That's life. I need to disconnect their Wi-Fi. They have it too good. Um, so Steve says, I hope that Shane's camping area looks a lot like Sean's background. Steve, so good news for you is that me and Sean and Shane and Dwight have been planting a lot of mosquitoes in that area, like around just your campsite. We've been planting mosquitoes and alligators. So I might even get Dwight to bring a couple scorpions or something for you, get in your tent with you.
I can. I'm sure I can come up with something.
Yeah. So we'll have you fixed up, Steve.
We'll be camping over there. We'll be camping.
Well, there's a cornfield right there beside it, boys, and we are close enough to Halloween,
Right?
so
I am
that'll keep
gonna.
you on your toes.
I'm going to put this out right now, just so everybody knows. I met Sean. I met Sean the first time I met him. We were camping at my shire. Um, when we come down to the Gulf Coast Quail Convention there, um, I'm not camping. I'm taking my fat butt to a motel. I ain't coming down there and staying in your all's 110-degree weather in August. Ain't happening.
Hey,
Can't do it.
they didn't make a movie about you boys, did they?
No, no, no. 'Cause, well, they might have. It's it's on pay-per-view. I need the money, but
Yeah.
but farming's hard. But but yeah. So because we need to put like a little trophy for ever who comes to the convention for the farthest person that travels there. I'm going to be a good distance. I'm gonna have to drive around a couple miles just to get it. But yeah, I'm not driving all that distance and then having to sleep in 110-degree weather. Nah, I can't do it.
So Jacob from northern Wisconsin,
He's going to
um,
win.
he's coming and they're camping.
Well, he's tougher than I am. Wisconsin people are tougher
He is tough
because
now.
they got the bugs in Wisconsin. They got bugs like 10 months out of the year. I got a friend who lives in Wisconsin, and they cut wood in the winter because the bugs are so bad in the summer it eats them up.
Yeah.
Like, so they get two heats. They get heat when they're cutting the wood, and then they burn the wood and get heat. But nah, I'm not camping. I like to
Yeah,
camp, but it ain't happening.
yeah. Like I try to tell him, Jacob, like you ice fish where you live at. There, I don't know anyone in the state of Louisiana who has ever ice fished anywhere in Louisiana.
Well,
So
where he's at, he's fishing for the fish. Here, the fish are looking for him.
yeah, yeah. So he's
So
not here. He's not here tonight. So, well, I think he might be working on his garden because he's just starting seeds in his greenhouse and just starting his garden right now.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I'm just about done with mine for the summer. So he's it'll be interesting for him to have that extreme temperature. Here comes Jason. His truck doesn't go past Ham and Cracker Barrel without some encouragement. I told you. It's. I'll just drag you along. I'll bring a trailer, and Jason, your truck could just scoot up on that trailer, and I'll pull you the rest of the way. Jason will be fun to have there. Oh, Tim's a maybe. Tim from 340 Quail Farm says that he's a maybe for the convention. That would be so awesome.
Hey, he can bring us some T-shirts, Aaron.
Yeah, those good T-shirts he's got.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like I'm super shy. Like when I first meet somebody, but like when I seen his shirt at QuailCon, I was like, I have to go talk to this guy. Like I have to. I mean, his shirt was an icebreaker for me. Because I never heard of him or seen him or anything like that. I didn't really know the guy, and I mean, he probably thought, who's this weird guy come and talk to me? And I mean, we hit it off. I still like every time I see 340 Quail Farm, I think of this shirt. He's just he's a good guy. Yeah. So Steve's saying Tim is just this far on the map. It's not that far. I was in Florida last Saturday. It was hot in Florida. So, like, if Tim would come, it wouldn't be a big temperature difference for Tim. It actually might be cooler for Tim because he lives down there in Florida, and they got it pretty rough down there. Amanda say my brother Robbie is going to try to join y'all from Mississippi Haven Hatchery. He has a goatee. Well, we'll let some goatee men in.
He won't be too far. Mississippi?
Yeah, Mississippi. Yeah. He's not far from us on the map. I mean, Mississippi's not that far.
Humidity is.
Let me.
You know what humidity is.
Yeah. So that's the chart. I'm put it back up. I put it on, but then we were talking and we were small on the side, and my old eyes couldn't see everyone else, so I took it back down. But here it is. It's back up. Tim says if a storm heads that way, he'll definitely be coming to us. Yeah, well, Tim, if a storm heads this way, we're coming to you. Maybe. It's I thought I emailed something, but I'm trying to put another chart up, but it's just
Turn my phone on you.
ridiculous. I'm struggling with technology tonight.
Well, Dwight can help you.
You'll call the tech.
Hey, I don't know.
You're doing a tech line?
I don't know.
Push one for
Me-
English.
me and Sean did a mic check earlier, and then he tried to get back on, and it didn't want to work.
Well, Sean's got the advantage. He's got an IT technician that he's married to, so she can blow through that stuff like nothing.
Hey, y'all want to see her? She's
running away from the camera, ain't she?
Yeah. Yeah, out here. Hang on.
There's the face of the company. Where's she at?
She didn't get mad at me.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's about to get himself in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
She's the backbone.
Yeah. So Steve said he put the chart on the Homestead page for those that want to download it, get it, info on the convention, and get a free weight chart. Yeah, there you go, Steve.
Steve's our best employee.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a coupon code for everybody on the call.
A coupon?
You want to do a coupon code?
I think we ought to.
Yeah. What y'all want to do? I'm good with it. Doesn't matter to me. You know, Sean, this is stuff that you would probably be better discuss beforehand. But this is definitely us.
That's how we roll.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't single you out because it's something I would do too.
Yeah, I think. Hey, ask the people that are watching what kind of coupon would take them to show up to come see us. Because we want them there.
Yeah, so everyone who hasn't purchased tickets, if what kind of coupon code you'd want, and I'll put it on the website, and you can get a coupon code for the convention. We have a military discount, because I mean, without our military, I don't know where we'd be at. I mean, I hope we never have to use those guys, but
so Marines get a box of crayons at the door. Remember?
Yeah, box of crayons at the door for Marines.
Big one. The big jumbos.
I want the big right number 2s.
Permanent markers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think like everything I do is always you got to show appreciation to the military. Just how I feel. You know, it's special.
Yeah. No, we'd be willing to donate something from the farm for the coupon code.
Yeah. Hope already put a coupon code for hatching eggs on y'all website.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. We're talking about coupon code for the convention.
I have to have Sandy work on that. I'm not tech.
Yeah.
You on
Jason's asking if we're gonna have someone talking about raising goats at the convention. Yep.
Bill Dwight.
Yeah, there'll be some hillbilly goats he's gonna talk about, but it'll be goats.
They work the same everywhere, huh, Dwight?
Some, yeah. But up here in the mountains, it's odd. I would like try to send you guys some goats, but I can't because you're on flat ground, and we're up here in these mountains, so like 2 legs is longer than the other. So you'd have to get them some like artificial legs or little steps for them.
There you go.
They're a little hard to.
That's the kind Sean needed over there.
Yeah.
I got short goats.
But yeah, Jason, if me and my wife is going to do a little spill on homesteading with small herd dairy goats. So if that's something you're interested in, check us out. We'll have some show and tell stuff with us. I'm not going to haul a goat that far, but that's those ibex goats. I want an ibex goat, but my wife won't let me to have one because we went to an exotic sale and the guy raises ibex and he said they get scared. They run 3 miles, they stop, turn around, look at you, see what happened, and then take off again. So my wife has barred me from having an ibex goat.
Hey, that sounds like Aaron the first time he seen me without my shirt on.
But
I was like a deer in the headlight. I was like, oh, what is that?
Yeah. So
you're on a rug or something like a cow skin. That's terrible.
Can't hear you, Sean.
Y'all can't hear me?
I couldn't.
I said last time I saw Shane without a shirt on, he was in front of a fireplace.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was yesterday.
Yeah. I'm still
with a song in the background. The heat is on.
Man.
So I'm putting the link for the convention here, and I'm also gonna comment. What did I do to code? Let's see. Code. Let's see. Technology is getting the best of me.
Yeah, I just seen something post.
Code is bearded, and that is for tickets for the convention. 20% off on tickets for the convention, and that is good until Monday morning. So if anyone rewatches, it's our bearded Quail man, and we'll hopefully see y'all there. I think for our talk, we're still hammering down a schedule, like a timeline, but I know like us for our planned talk is for the Saturday evening dinner under the main tent, all 4 of us sitting there. So you can have a little entertainment while you're eating, and it'll be a live Q&A set up. We'll also have a planned discussion of stuff we could talk about. And so we're not gonna get to eat.
We don't get to eat.
We could eat after. Dwight,
Now I'm
calm down.
driving 13 hours to have some Cajun food. You ain't gonna let me eat?
I'm gonna take care of you.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Never mind. Shane got me.
Oh man. We're gonna feed you, Dwight, but like we're gonna let everyone else eat while we're talking, and then we're gonna eat after.
Okay, all right. Now I got you now. Sorry.
But I'll
Whatever
feed you a
leftover.
snack. I'll feed you a snack before. Dwight,
Okay.
I seen you eating. You look like an infant. You can have juices leaking down in your beard, and you know we're gonna eat. We just gotta wait a little while.
Okay. All right. I got you.
Dwight was about to not come. He thought it's like if I can't eat, I'm not going.
Where am I
Like,
going?
Cancel my vacation, Sandy.
I said I'm out of it.
yeah,
I stay up here where it's cool.
yeah. Dwight was canceling his tickets just now. Dwight was like,
Ain't happening.
No.
So I was trying to join the chat there, but Jason, if you want to like message me, like if you've got any like a topic that anybody that's got like a topic that they want to talk about, like on goats, or they want to maybe us touch on, kind of give me a heads up because we're doing our layout, so we have a little program so we know what's going on. So if you've got something you want to ask or something, kind of give us a heads up so we can kind of put it together for you. Or we can just wing it.
Hoof trimming class. Like I need it like ASAP too.
We can do that. You'll have to bring us a goat. I can show you. I've got tools I'm gonna bring. I'm gonna show you what you should have in your homesteading goat. Listen to this one. Goat tote.
Go.
Yeah.
Goat
Hey.
tote.
This guy here.
So we're going to show you some tools, what you need to have on your, if you're going to own goats, the minimum things that you need to have, because up here we don't have goat vets. So if you can't take care of it yourself, you got a problem. So but get you through until you can find someone, a vet or someone to help you out. But we're going to give you the basics of what you need to have on hand.
And I can show you a couple of things, Sean, I learned when I was a monk in Tibet. A couple of pressure points, you can put them without any kind of anesthesia. Put them right down.
Yeah. And they won't say nothing.
It's not too bad. Well, I am officially out of the goat game. I do not have goats.
You don't. I thought me and you was talking about you was so happy because you were going to get goats.
I was. We had that conversation. I was excited that I got goats. Steve and Ed Got Bait started a GoFundMe for me to get goats. And I don't have goats.
I need a goat fund me. I got 9. Somebody trying to sell me right now to add to my flock.
Be careful, like I was telling you about bringing in new goats. We reserved 2. We got 2 to pick up in July, but I've been hunting for this lady. I have a really, really good doe, and I've been hunting for this lady for about 3 years. And she got divorced and changed her name, so I never found her, but I found her. So I was able to reserve a well-bred doeling and a nice buck. I already picked out the buckling. Well, actually, Sandy picked him out, but I waited for pictures of his mom's udders and stuff. So we're adding a really good buck back to our bloodlines.
I can't wait for Dwight's talk. Make sure I'm available for that one.
It's all about the udder.
Udder selection.
The udder selection.
What you talking about? There will be no other topic.
Correct.
So Hope saying for on Steve's Family Farm have a coupon code for bearded quail called coupon code is bearded quail men. Then Cam is saying it looks all capital letters, bearded quail men, 30% off hatching eggs on Timber Ridge Quail Farms website. So and then we also have the 20% off coupon for tickets for the Homesteading convention, and I mean not miss reads this one. Amanda Smith says, "I'm Army veteran serving in Afghanistan."
Thank you,
Amanda,
ma'am.
yeah, thank you very much. I'm glad you're here, and I saw one of your comments way back up there that um, had you have my email. You should have my contact information if you have any questions or need anything. I mean, you know how to get a hold of me. I have a few different ways you could get in touch with me. So if you have any questions to pick a brain or just bounce things off of, reach out for sure. I'm I would say I'm not too hard to get in touch with, but sometimes I can be. Um, so Hope saying, can we send Amanda some eggs for her service? Amanda,
We'd
you want
load
some
her up,
eggs? Yeah, I'm in it. I mean, we can we can all do it.
ask her how big,
Amanda,
because that's the question.
she has cabin incubators. Um, so Amanda, if you're still here, if you're not here anymore, I'll reach out to Amanda and I'll get all the specifics and I'll pass it out to everyone and we
What,
could
Okay.
do we know?
yeah. Was that?
What branch?
I'm not sure. Amanda, she's still here. So Amanda, what branch of military? I knew you were in Afghanistan. So you see, if you come to the Homesteading Convention, Afghanistan, South Louisiana in August, same thing except less sand. Less sand.
And nobody will be chasing you here.
No, dude, you can't say that because I mean you still you,
You in
you
Mississippi? Yeah,
you do live right next to Kentwood.
yeah.
I mean you might get shot at and chased. Just less sand. Oh, so look at us, big dummies. Amanda is an Army veteran.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, Army. So Steve had to point that out because I mean, and I'm looking at her comment. It clearly says Army veteran.
She
But
watched 250. What is it? 250 years right now.
250 years. Yep, that's yeah, yeah. So Steve, who is also the king procrastinator, um, he's has a lot of attention to detail. He that's Steve. You got to watch that guy. He's he's tough. He's a tough crowd.
We need people like Steve.
Absolutely. I love to keep Steve around. He Steve will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So Steve's a good friend.
I think every man in this here will do the same.
Yeah. But you see, at least some of us will pull each other aside and say, "Hey, fella, look here." Steve will create a live stream just to let you know.
There you go.
Yeah, I really I like Steve. Steve's super awesome. He's probably the bravest one out of all of us because you seen how many kids he told at the QuailCon?
A bunch.
Man, they were gonna cancel QuailCon because they didn't have enough tickets until Steve got tickets for all them grandkids he brought. Then they were like, "Oh, we oversold, guys. Stop buying tickets." I think he had a school bus of grandchildren, but hey, he brought those grandkids and they had fun. Every time you'd see all those kids were all running together and having a blast. And Steve was out there causing campfire chaos. You know, normal Steve stuff.
I gotta touch back. I was watching the comments here. So like my quail numbers are down as far as my cotornic. So like I can't do like so much off on hatching eggs because I don't have them. But I will put this out. So if people buy the tickets to QuailCon and then Aaron or ever who can they can show
QuailCon.
me or not QuailCon. You guys got me mixed up, man. It's been a rough year. So Gulf Coast Convention, Homesteading Convention, got it. So if if they buy the tickets and they want to try the Tennessee Reds, if you guys can tell me who bought the tickets, I will send them a free dozen of the Tennessee Red Quail eggs, but they do have to know that that is a game bird. So if you're going to raise them, you need to check into your local laws about getting the permits for game bird.
Did you say
But
free?
yeah,
Hey, Kim, send him a message.
yeah, yeah. I'll hook you up. Yeah, I'll hook you right up.
You had me free.
Had you
Well,
free, and
you'll
and
be
I
turning
will,
assassins loose
and
in the.
I will be a. If you get eggs from me, I will be a consultant for you because I guarantee you will have problems with them. Not the hatching. The hatching will be fine. I've got a really good hatch rate, but they're not a hard bird to raise. They're a difficult bird to raise.
You
So
know what?
there's a lot of loopholes.
Yeah.
Um, you know, when I met you at QuailCon, I know we said that too many times today, but when we met you,
Aaron's keeping notes. We're getting ready to get kicked off here for that.
No. Listen, I wish QuailCon was a thing this year.
I know it. I
Uh,
missed last year. I hate it.
Yeah.
I'd
That's
back this year.
Okay, you're going to have to lean back into the mic, Sean. I can't hear you because I'm leaning in and I can't hear you.
I think you.
hey,
I think
you wearing headphones, Dwight. It doesn't matter how close you get to the screen, it's the
Yeah, I
same
know.
volume.
I told you I'm not tech savvy.
Dwight's leaning into the computer trying to hear better
Huh?
with
Yeah,
headphones in.
I bet it's the same headphones that you used back in the '80s that had that little foam on the end of them.
They are.
Hey, Walkman.
Yeah. There you go. Why? Well, is this or the other option that we talked about? And I thought I would go with this.
You're doing good, buddy.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
doing good.
When we met
Real.
Dwight, he was he was sending kids. What were you sending them? Like a worm farm?
Yeah. So like I raised mealworms. So like kids were wanting to get into raising mealworms because you can like doing composting like with red wiggler worms and stuff like that. That takes a lot of space. You're going to end up having to have equipment to move a lot of dirt, a lot of manure. But you can do mealworms in a small area. You can do them in the corner of your mudroom, your kid's bedroom. You know, but they get worms get loose, and then mom gets mad. Well, wives get mad. That's a whole nother thing too. But so I was giving kids, you know, they would like, I would send out little flyers, or they would get a flyer from me, and if they collared it in and sent it back to me and gave me their age and stuff, I would send them a free. I hear you. I would send them a free starter for mealworms, and so I got some kids doing it, you know, which is pretty good. I don't really do a lot of mealworm stuff right now because I've got too many other things going on, but anything that we can do to get kids into farming, no matter what, that's what we got to do.
And just
That's
so
right.
everybody collared, it's colored.
Colored? No, it's not colored.
Coloring.
Colored will get you in trouble. You know,
Yeah.
color.
Yeah.
Color.
So Dwight, we're gonna have to put a closed captioning when Dwight speaks.
Yeah.
You know what's bad? What's bad is when there's two Louisiana people and a Texas person, and he needs closed captioning.
And the bad thing about it is I don't know why you guys can't understand me because I understand you all perfect.
Oh, I
See,
got you.
I'm like one of these people. Like I'm a translator. Like I know a lot of different languages, so I can talk to everybody there.
I can't hear. Lean in.
So yeah.
Aaron,
So,
you gonna
so please don't tell me I sound like Boomhire off Hank Hill.
I mean, since you brought it up.
All right, back to what we were doing.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going.
We were. I said, you know, people buy if they want to try the Tennessee Red Eggs and they buy tickets to Gulf Coast Homesteading Convention. Got it. And you guys just, you know, if they say, hey, I bought the ticket, you know, just like send me a screenshot of your ticket and your address, and I'll send you a dozen of Tennessee Red Eggs. But like I said, if you go to raising those, you have to have a game farm permit because it's a bob white quail, just some collar mutation.
Yeah, they got a different collar.
Yeah, different collar. Well, they got a collar you can put on their neck, or they're a different collar, you know.
It does look. They do look cute because they have like the little white bow tie.
Yeah, a collar,
Yeah.
little white collar,
Yeah. What collar is their collar?
white.
Hey, so make sure when he's doing his class, we need a screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't need a screen. I use the one word for everything, color.
Okay.
So I don't have like colored or caller or because caller is that like a phone, like someone's calling you? I have a phone caller,
Yeah,
or do I have a
you
dog
can use
collar.
that for you can use
See,
that word for
What
all three. Dwight.
yeah, I
All
mean,
three.
what collar was a collar to you?
it was a red collar. But
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to go to your tent, Dwight, and stand in there with you in case we get any flack.
Yeah.
probably. They ain't no one gonna mess with me. I'm a mountain man.
That's right. Tough as a
Yeah.
cow.
They'd be like, man, I ain't never seen nothing like this right here. Uh, you people's gonna be on this live stream and they're gonna hear me and they're gonna travel for miles and miles around just to hear me talk.
I'm seeing the ticket sales jump up already.
I
Just from
mean,
this
just
one
racking
trip.
up like stock market. I
That's
mean,
it.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, hey, and for a little extra fee, they can even get a picture with me
Hey, and an autograph.
and an autograph.
That's what I'm
And
talking
you
about.
just bring whatever color pencil you want me to use, and I'll use it.
That's what I like.
Or crayon if Sean don't need them all.
Funny. I'm gonna jump back into the chat.
All right, get back into it.
Jason says 2 hour live stream impressive. Yeah, I figured. I told him we would try to shut it down in about an hour, and
I had to plug in the phone.
Yeah.
You can go somewhere else when you can't go nowhere else. So stay with us.
yeah. So Amanda says, "Yep, Armor served the Marines in Kandahar. Will say something very healing about raising quail. Absolutely. Aside from their poop and stuff like that, it's therapeutic. I enjoy just sitting there and listening to them, watching them walk around the cages. Um, so crazy, and I've said it a couple times before, and people always think I'm absolutely crazy, but I actually enjoy and I really like the smell of a quail when it's freshly hatched. Like when you open up the incubator, open up the hatcher, that smell right there. I like that smell. Listen, I am weird.
As long as it ain't on day 23.
Oh no, oh no.
That smells not good.
No, that's a bad smell, Dwight. That's a bad smell. That's that's a smell you could see the collar of the smell.
Yeah.
Don't start sneezing when I show up, please.
Yeah. So Amanda's laughing, says less sand. Yeah, it's less sand. Mason Field says I'm late, but hello bearded men. Hello Mason, you didn't grow your beard in time, so you couldn't join us. And you weren't first on the comments. Steve says this is apparently pick on Dwight hour. Stick around, Steve, because it'll be your turn next. Juanita Field says hi. Hey Juanita, hope you're doing well up north. Jason says these couillons. Yeah, we are.
You got to tell them what that means, Aaron. Couillon.
Us. We'll leave that one a mystery for because Dwight's like I don't know what are y'all talking about.
What'd you say again?
Couillon. It ain't colors. It ain't collars. It's couillon.
Couillon. That's all you all, right?
Yeah.
All you all.
Yeah, all you all.
Yeah. Well, my first wife, her dad was from Louisiana, so I got a little bit of.
I'm sorry.
I got. Well, so I don't know. I can tell you what part he was, but I don't know if it's classified as Louisiana. He was like, where was it? Vinton?
Vinton?
No, not Vinton. VIE.
Vienna.
Yes, like Vienna weenie. Yeah. So where's that? Where?
Well, south.
Italy?
So what part of Louisiana is that? Vienna?
I don't know.
I'd have to look it up, Dwight. I've never been there.
Yeah.
Um,
He's dead now. It don't matter.
Yeah, he ain't living nowhere.
He ain't living nowhere now. He living in the dirt.
He
He was a good
compost.
guy. He was a good guy. Better than the ex-wife, but it is what it is.
He gone.
Can't pick him.
Enter this coupon code for a counseling session with the bearded quail man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He gone.
He gone.
So Amanda says we raised Georgia Bob Whites or the Tennessee Reds similar. They are definitely different. Would love some. Yeah, so they're smaller than the Georgia Giant Bob Whites. They're smaller. Their main thing is their aggression towards each other. Um, they're a really pretty bird, but like the sound, the care, everything else is the same. It's just they tend to be more on the aggressive side.
So the
Um,
Georgia Bob Whites, so they're a heavier bird, right? I
yeah,
mean they're bigger.
Georgia Giants are heavier.
So they're not a release bird, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're
Yeah,
In November or December. I can't remember when we went on. I went on a, it was a release bird, but no, they were nice. I mean, I think they're, what are they, like 16 ounces?
yeah, they're around 16 ounces.
oh yeah,
They
16-ounce birds can fly around here. It's gonna be flat. But
They're right.
yeah,
They were fast.
yeah, yeah. These birds, like my birds, are like a big Tennessee red that is 10 ounces. I mean, that would be a big one. I mean, because they're like a northern Bob White. They're small, but yeah,
Yeah.
they're not big.
Yeah, Mason says I have a quail baby candle. I don't know that. So Sandy said Amanda they're similar. So Steve says Vienna is northeast of Shreveport, and Jason said what I was thinking. That's southern Arkansas. Yeah, like once you get like Shreveport, you're not in
Yeah.
Louisiana
Well,
anymore.
that's what I was looking it up. So is that like, yeah, it's
We
not
don't we don't we don't claim that area of Louisiana.
okay.
That's not real Louisiana.
So it's just like it's not Texas, it's Arkansas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like everything close to Texas is Texas.
Okay.
Oh look who we have here. Wisconsin himself. Jacob says super late. Hello all. Jacob, we were talking about you on how much you're gonna love the temperature in August in South Louisiana.
But we also know a good motel, so if you don't want to stay in the heat, you can go with the good people. We'll have our own little party.
Yeah. Mason says once the humidity starts drowning you, it's Louisiana. Yeah. It's you could swim in the humidity, in the relative humidity here. Steve says, hello, Jacob. We were talking about you earlier. Yeah. Talking about your temperature difference. Um, it, it'll be rough. It won't be bad for me because I'm gonna be more north. I got to travel north for this. Everyone else is gonna have to travel south. I got to travel north. So that's pretty exciting.
Well, if Jason comes, he'll have to head north.
Oh, Juanita says the good old no tail motel. Uh, we'll leave the light on for you. Amanda says my brother Robbie was born in Lafayette. And Lafayette, they claim to be real Cajun country, but I don't know. I seen that. Like that's the part of Cajun country they put tomatoes in gumbo. So I don't know. That's like Lafayette's like Texas. That's where Texas starts.
They start wearing big hats when you hit Lafayette, headed west.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a
Look,
big
we got
taco.
one right there.
Yeah, they kind of go back and forth on like Louisiana for like the who's more Cajun in Louisiana, and it's kind of funny. Jacob says I'm super excited to see if I will melt in the heat. You will. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Mason says, unless it is in a different country, you physically can't host anything further south than Aaron. Latitude wise, Leah is technically further south than me. And if Tim comes, Tim's further south than me. They're in Florida, but you can't get much more south than me in Louisiana. Like I admit, I think Venice is the only thing that's further south than me, and that doesn't even count. Venice is like a different country. Watch it, this guy. Jacob says the high temp there was 68 today.
Oh Lord, bring it with you.
Yeah, my low temps is 85 at night.
Yeah.
Jason says he'll probably be there. Want to hear about composting? Yeah.
We got some compost experts here you can talk to.
Yeah, that it'll be fun to have you there, Jason. It'll be exciting. I mean, maybe we could bring the truck stop with us so we could all hang out in the parking lot, or maybe we could like meet there in the morning at the truck stop and then go to the convention after.
Meet nobody in the morning in the truck stop. No.
It's
No.
It's not as weird as it sounds.
So, like, I drove hazmat for 13 years. It's as weird as it sounds.
No, it's a Louisiana truck stop.
Okay. All right. So I got it. Let me spell you the town that my ex-father-in-law lived in. Vivian.
No idea.
I'm gonna click on it and see where in the world it was. I don't know. This says south.
Yeah, it's in Louisiana.
It's
Yeah,
so far south it won't even let me pull it up on a map.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you way up there by Texas, and that's closer to Sean. It's by Texas and Arkansas. I mean, that's Texas. That's
Okay,
not
so
even.
yeah.
He's technically in Louisiana, but that's Texas.
Well, it's a good thing you don't know it now.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Got stuck
Oh,
on
you
it.
good? You good, Dwight?
Yeah. So, Mr. Mason Fields says sorted some birds from Mr. Seal, some very large birds.
Thank you, Mason.
Jason says good food at truck stop in Louisiana. Yeah, you get boudin. You can get. I stopped at one of them. This was earlier in the year. That the truck stops, they have the hot boxes and stuff. They were selling boiled crawfish at a truck stop in the hot box. And I walked in. I mean, you could smell the smell.
Oh yeah.
You know the smell. I'm like, man, it smells like boiled seafood in here. Sure enough, they were selling boiled crawfish at a truck stop. It was around Lafayette. Lafayette does Lafayette things. So Jacob says he has a generator and AC, so he will have some relief at night. Yeah, buddy, but during the daytime, the old sun's gonna come out and get you. it really won't be that bad because at the end of August we usually have a lot of wind blowing, so it's it won't be like an oven because of the wind blowing. It'll be more like an air fryer.
Convection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, something to look forward to. I mean, I don't know if you ever like experienced a sauna, but it's about the equivalent of a sauna. And it seemed like we lost Mr. Sean.
He gone.
He gone. Mason says the wind blowing the hurricanes right on in. Yeah, I hope not. Oh, here comes Mr. Sean.
What up?
You look like he got a taco on his head.
I was using solar power and my hat blocked out the sun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you moved locations.
And my phone went dead, man. What all y'all say about me while I'm gone? Oh,
Everything.
How much we missed you?
Yeah.
You'll have to go
Jacob,
back and watch it.
the whole thing from the
Yeah.
start.
you like the
You gonna
side?
get him a he that
Look at
man
that
right
hat.
there. Hey, that man right there has put the little old Nacho Taco Bell dog out of business.
Oh yeah.
He gonna be the new representative.
Y'all
Yeah.
know y'all like this hat. I'm telling you, I bought it at the convenience store.
That hat's got it's big enough for two heads.
You know what size my head is?
About the size of a big watermelon.
7 5/8, baby.
7 5/8.
What a head.
Head on him like a house cat.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jacob says his tears will keep him cool. Then Larry says he wants some of those Tennessee Reds, which Larry already has tickets to the
I can hook
convention.
him up.
Yeah, and it's actually not too far because Larry's in East Tennessee.
Yeah.
Larry's in the mountains of East Tennessee.
That's my kind of man.
You better calm down with all of that. Yeah.
Yes, mountain people's got to stick together.
I don't think he's that mountain. I don't think he's like mountain like you.
Well, not everybody can be like me.
I know. Sadly. Well, we are at 2 hours and 20 minutes, so I think we'll wrap this up. Now, Larry's saying he does have his game license because
Okay.
Larry does have Bob White's. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Have him send me a message on, or you can send me his info or something.
yeah, I'll send you his info. I'll
Okay.
send
What
you his
color
info.
does he want?
He gonna get the color they are, red
Root.
or roof.
Blue.
Well, guys, this has been fun. I know we had to PG-13 ourselves.
That's hard.
But
I think we
I
did
think
well. We did good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the closed caption kind of helped with when Dwight would talk.
You must have
I-
me blocked. I couldn't read it.
Well, you are from West Virginia.
You can't read.
I can read.
I know our wives. They don't find as much humor as we find in each other, but I mean, it's this has been real fun, and happy Father's Day to you guys and everyone else watching this. Tomorrow's Father's Day, so you know what that means. I get brand new socks and underwear. It's great. I like my brand new socks and underwear. Could hold off till Christmas, But it's hot. Stay safe. Stay farming. Don't get discouraged. It is hot, So don't get discouraged. You're gonna have things go wrong. Farming, homesteading, where there's livestock, there's dead stock. You're gonna lose animals. Things are not gonna. It's always at the most inopportune times that things go bad. And right now in the South, it is terrible. It's hot, so everything's gonna go wrong. And just don't lose hope.
I won't. I'm married to her.
There you go.
She's been
Yeah.
trying to lose you, though.
Yeah.
Yes, you've been trying pretty hard. But you know what? We're real men for real people. You can't lose me.
All right.
Yeah. We'll see y'all next time. We'll schedule Bearded Quail Men again soon. So
Thanks for everybody that joined. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
and don't forget, Steele's Family Farm and Timber Ridge have coupon codes for 30% off hatching eggs. Yeah, that's right, huh?
And
it's
our
30.
army, and our army vet, if she wants eggs, all she's got to do is message us, remind us who she is.
Yeah. So Amanda, you can message Timber Ridge and Steele's Family Farm on Facebook, and I'll get with you. I think I have your address somewhere, but I'll reconfirm it, and we'll get you something out there. And Larry, I'll get Dwight your contact, and we'll make that happen. And we'll see y'all next time.
Happy Father's Day, guys.
Yeah.
Happy Father's
Father's
Day.
Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Later.
Later.
All right. Y'all have a good one.